Hey there guys, welcome to Keeping It Real with Team Awesome with yours truly, Lorenzo Dozier. And I am going to talk about a topic that you guys wanted me to speak about for the longest, and that is narcissism. So narcissism personality is basically a disorder that involves a pattern of self-centered, arrogant thinking, behavior, and somebody that lacks empathy, someone that doesn't take into consideration of others, has an excessive need for admiration, and others often describe these type of people as a cocky, manipulative, selfish, patronizing, and demanding person. So, if you have come in contact or probably dated anybody that acts like any of those things that I mentioned, you are dealing with our narcissistic person. So, what do you do with a person that is narcissistic? Imagine coming in contact with a person that doesn't take accountability of their own actions. Imagine dealing with a person that doesn't see anything wrong with what he or she is doing, or is very defensive about you letting them know something. Like, say for instance, you're telling somebody something wrong that they're doing. They don't take constructive criticism well. They're actually very defensive, overly sensitive, and when they decide to flip the script on you, it's basically you're the problem, they're not the problem, and they blame everybody but themselves. So, let me give you some quick advice on how to deal with a narcissistic person. You need to monitor what you say and how you say it. Because what you say is not always the problem, it's how you say it. When a person feels threatened or feels that they are in a position where they want to be defensive and want to be vocal about everything that you're doing instead of everything that they're doing, that person needs to realize that he or she is displaying a behavior that is toxic, absolutely toxic. And nobody wants to be around a toxic person. We are all guilty of having some forms of toxic traits, but with a narcissistic person, they don't realize what they're doing is toxic. They actually think what they're doing is absolutely fine. They don't see any wrong in what they're doing. They could have got into a little argument with you and make you feel like a load of crap, take advantage of you, manipulate you, make you feel bad about something that they did. What do you do with a person like that? Do you want to stay in a relationship with a person like that? Because I know a lot of people on my end that deals with narcissistic people, and they stay in those relationships because he or she is sweet talking their way out of a situation. And then the person that is taking the blame feels bad about what he or she is doing. And then they took full responsibility for the next person's actions. Now, it's very sad to deal with a person that lacks empathy. It's very sad dealing with somebody that expresses negative behavior towards the next person. And I feel that a person needs to sit down and talk to these people about what he or she is doing before it goes completely left. You could talk about your problems to this person and they will completely neglect you and ignore everything that you said and go back to talking about themselves. That's very selfish of them. You want me to support you in your problems, but you do not want to sit down and listen to me when I vent about my problems. You want to make everything about yourself and compare yourself to other people, or get that attitude where you show no remorse. Like, I don't care what's happening to that person. We're here to talk about me and me only. What does that person have to do with me? And it's like, okay. What am I supposed to do about that? You know? And another issue I've had with narcissistic people, and this happens a lot in marriages, when you're staying with a person because you feel like you could change the person, and in actuality, you can't change them, they can only change themselves. And narcissistic people, they try to destroy everything else around them. If you have friends, they will make sure you don't have friends. If you have family, they will make sure that your relationships with your families are broken. They want the world to focus on them and themselves only. And anybody else outside of them is not an importance. And I feel like a lot of us carry some traits of it, but some of us carry it more heavier than others. And it's a behavior that gets out of hand every single day, because there's a lot of people out here that display that type of behavior. Lack of empathy, not being considerate of others, always talking about themselves and their problems, not respecting what somebody else has to say, not taking anything into consideration. Comes off shy, comes off very passive and aggressive. Somebody that displays verbal confrontation. Somebody that doesn't seek for solutions, but is always the problem. If this sounds like anything that you deal with in your life, whether it be yourself or somebody else that you deal with, or maybe people at work or friends, you are dealing with a narcissistic person. And the only way to make ends meet and, compromise with these type of people is either limiting what you say to these people, be mindful of what you say to these people, or don't talk to them at all. Let these people just deal with themselves, just by themselves. And don't get put into the guilt trap of, if you do draw away from this person or people, because it's always more than one, the first thing they're going to do is make you feel bad. Like, oh, you don't want to support me anymore. You was never there for me to begin with. Or, I know you were fake. I knew you were fake since day one. And it's like, where is all of this mindset coming from? Was this always in your head? It didn't just happen overnight. Maybe this was always in the back of your head, and you decided to use the opportunity to display that mindset towards the next person because you felt that you needed to display that type of negativity. I advise each and every one of you guys to make sure that you be mindful of what you say to a person like that. I have watched friends and families, relationships get destroyed in that sense because of basically accepting what the next person says, having tolerance, or settling for what the next person says, especially when they're in the wrong. Like, they do not see anything past what they're doing. They don't see anything past that. Anyway, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Do your research as well on the narcissistic behavior trait and see if anything that I mentioned matches up with what a professional definition has stated. And be sure to subscribe, comment, like, follow me on my platforms on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram with the handle TeamAwesome418. Get my books at Amazon.com, and they're called 31 Days to Live and The Cure Project. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate and love you guys all. We'll talk soon. Keep it real.